Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. And look what I have. This is my first dendrobium to bloom for me of my collection, so I am extremely happy today. This is a no ID miniature dendrobium. I had no idea what this was going to look like when it bloomed, and I think that she is spectacular. So I'm so happy to share this with you all today. I am just ecstatic. This is the most charming little bloom on this plant. And the bloom on my Vanda just keep getting more beautiful by the day. The color just continues to deepen. Oh, I am so happy with this spike of flowers. Today I was going to talk to you about the fertilizer choice that I've made. I got a fertilizer that is a 13-3-15. I was looking for a fertilizer that had very little ammoniacal nitrogen, and of that 13% nitrogen, only 0.7% of that is ammoniacal. So most of that nitrogen is nitrate based. So I'm really happy with that. That was what I was looking for. And I appreciate all of your all's comments and all of your help as far as my decision was concerned. Thank you so much. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do before I use the new fertilizer. Before I use anything new or before I change anything with my orchids. As you all know, I always take tester orchids from my collection that will help me to decide if it's going to be a good thing or not for my entire collection. So my tester for moss this time is going to be my sunshine phal, and she's not in spike or anything, so she's going to be a good tester phal for moss. This is a purple no ID phal that has been in water culture for about a year and a half now. She is not in bloom. She has this spike, but there's no secondary spikes yet. So she's going to be perfect to be my tester phal for water culture. And then this little dendrobium is going to be my tester phal, my tester dendrobium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try fertilizing these first with my new fertilizer. I plan on using about 125 parts per million with my phals and with my dendrobiums. Let me kind of show you what I've been doing with them all summer long. Here's my little chart that I've been using. In my 6.2 pH water, I've been using, in the spring and summer, I use a 20-14-13. That's a lot of nitrogen. But here in Tennessee, in the spring and summer, we get the temperatures behind that to back that up. That much nitrogen actually breaks down. So I've been using a half a teaspoon on my phals, and you can see I have a 348 parts per million there. And then on my dendrobiums, I've been using a quarter of a teaspoon. So that's about 192 parts per million. What I'm going to do during the fall and winter is I'm going to use it at the rate of 125 parts per million with that 13-3-14 fertilizer. So that'll kind of give you a view of what I'm gearing down on my fertilizer. It'll probably be just every other week. I think that's going to be plenty. The good thing about using fertilizer with moss is that, moss is a spongy material. So you don't have to fertilize quite as much as you do in bark. So I'm only going to be fertilizing the ones in moss about every 2 or 3 weeks. Now, my Vandas are heavy feeders. So I'm going to continue with the same fertilizer I've been using, that 20-14-13, at half of the rate that I normally use in the summer. So I'm kind of going half of the rate across the board. So I hope that gives you some ideas about how I'm going to use my fertilizer this fall and winter. And speaking of tester phals, this used to be my tester phal. until it became one of my favorite phals, and it is spiking. So I just wanted to show you, this is my white medium-sized phal. As you all know, this was my first tester phal, and I think that she liked my fertilizer regimen over the summer. Don't you think so? The roots have grown. There's that spike. There's a new leaf. When you have tester orchids, it's just a good way to change things up a little bit, to see, to tweak your routine. It's just a really safe way to take a few of your orchids, try new things before you try it on your whole collection. And of course, November is the time for spikes and for blooms. And I had to show you my Phal Golden number 5. The color combination of this yellow bloom with the red lip is just stunning. This one is in waterculture. It's having a dry day today, so you can see the beautiful roots. This root system has always just been beautiful. And by the way, I did start this phal out in waterculture right after I bought it. That's how I suggest you do that. I tried some of my other phals that I'd had for a while, and the ones that you put in waterculture right when you bring home, they've done so much better for me than the ones that have been established in media for a long time. And here's Einstein, and this spike just continues to bloom out. It's absolutely beautiful. I've had this plant for 10 years, and this plant has never failed to produce a beautiful spike of stunning white blooms for me. I love this plant. And I thought that I would tell you all a little story about my TDS meter and my pH meter. These have become my best friends. If you have a collection of orchids and you are mixing up a lot of fertilizer, these are lifesavers. You can get these on Amazon. My pH pen, it's awesome. I had been buying pH strips at the pet store. This is so much easier to use than those strips. This is well worth the money. Okay, and my TDS pen. Last week it saved me from making a big mistake. I had been mixing fertilizer for the Vandas at a higher rate, the phals and the dendrobiums at a lower rate, and I was getting ready to fertilize my phals. Put my TDS pen down in the mixture to see what the TDS was, and it was way high. I had mixed it at a very large rate. It kept me from making a big mistake. So if you've got a collection of orchids, I would highly recommend you get a pH pen and a TDS. These things are wonderful. They're going to save you some time. They're going to save you some money from going out and buying pH strips. And it can perhaps save you from making a mistake with your fertilizing routine. So with that, I just hope you all have a really good day. Be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.